Hey, welcome everyone. My name is JR and I am the founder and owner of Business Leaders Network, where we help small businesses generate more wealth and grow through education, visibility, and community. And today we're here with another roundtable interview where I am going to highlight some entrepreneurs and we're going to share more about who they are and what they do. And if it resonates with you and you want to get in touch with them, make sure you guys connect with them. But you guys stay till the end to hear where to find them. So make sure you stay tuned, listen in, and have fun. All right, first question. We're going to go right to Miss April. So, April, why don't you share a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and what inspired you to get started doing what you do?
Well, that's a long story. I'll try to cut it short. I'm an Appalachian Trail thru hiker, a former teacher. I ran a service business for 26 years. I wrote a book about my hikes, and now I speak and I help leaders with values-led leadership. I help people understand what it takes to become a leader, and I help people get through resilience, understand what it is, how to get through it, and just live life every day.
Love that. What inspired you to get started?
It turns out after I sold my company, I still have former employees calling me all the time, like 3, 4 years later, 5 years later. And we have this relationship, and other leaders are like, how does that happen? How do you do that? And I was like, I just thought it was common sense. So I guess it's not. So I'm out here to show people you can still run a company and you can still have a relationship with your staff. And the more your staff thinks you care about them, the harder they're going to work for you. So it's a win-win either way. So I need to show people that.
Love that. Dr. Dashon, same question, man. Tell us more about who you are, what you do, what inspires you to get started.
Author of 4 books, and fourth, I'm an ordained minister. And then I help people. I work more with new entrepreneurs of understanding how to build a business from a professional, compliant, and legal standpoint. I got started on this roughly this year, the end of late 2025 into this year. And this kind of came because my first few companies that I opened up, they ranged between 2018 and 2024. That first company, I built it off the noise of people saying, hey, you need to build a business, and not knowing what entails a business, and just kind of being, hey, I'll figure it out as I go. And as I've gotten older and more mature, I didn't get my associate's degree in business management. I realized that I wasn't the only one that was struggling with this. There was other people that were struggling with it as well. And because they were just going off the noise of, hey, build a business, become an entrepreneur, and figure out the rest later.
Very cool. Love that. Well, congratulations on taking the leap of faith for building that. It takes a lot of risks. So congratulations. Jessica, same question for you. Tell us more about who you are, what you do, and what inspired you to get started.
Hi, my name is Jessica Dowlen, and I help professionals and families navigate through high stakes conflict and tough transitions with clarity and confidence. So I work with resetting dysfunctional teams through a structured mediation process to make sure that we have clear working agreements, improved communication norms, and fewer repeat escalations. So really looking to partner with HR leaders and business owners to make sure that we are moving forward.
Very cool.
I work.
What inspired you?
What inspired me is these these principles have been with me mine since elementary school. I was actually trained as a peer mediator in elementary school. It was a pilot program that my school did, and so those principles have always guided me. And I wanted to find a way that I could have a real impact. And what better way than helping people through these transitions, especially in the workplace? We spend more than half of our lives working. So in the workplace is a huge, huge place that we see conflict. And that's where I found my niche. I do have a background in HR and a degree in business administration.
I love that. Congratulations. Sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Well, for me, I'm the founder and owner of Business Leaders Network, and our whole mission is to build a community of emotionally intelligent servant leaders. We do so through education, visibility, and community, and we work really hard to making sure that we are focused on the individuals, their heart, and then giving them the tools and resources that they can actually use to grow their businesses. And we focus more on the servant leadership rather than we do transactions. I love Zig Ziglar, what he says. You help more people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And so when we focus on serving and helping other people, then I know that it's going to come back to us. And so we really look for people that understand that same thing. If people come in and saying, hey, you know what, I got to make sure I get an ROI focused on leads and transactions. I mean, yes, we all want an ROI. We all want to build our business. And but truly it has to be about people and not necessarily about transactions. And so it's a big tell when someone comes in and they tell me that. I'm like, hey, we're just not the good fit for you. You need to find somewhere else, because we want people that they're focusing on people, helping them grow, get what they need, and it's naturally going to come. And what really inspired me to do this, I'm a combat veteran. I got out of the military in 2007, spent some time in Iraq, got injured really bad, and when I got out in 2007, I started martial arts school in St. Louis. Then I built a pretty big fitness business in 4 cities. When I moved to Virginia in 2016, I started business coaching and consulting. And throughout that process, I realized how bad people didn't know how to network. They would show up to a room and they thought just passing out cards was going to help keep their calendars full. Well, some of them would keep their calendars full and they would book a lot of coffee dates and meet new people and all these different things. But they're like, I'm meeting all these people. Why am I not growing my business? And then I find out like what they're doing wrong. And they just didn't know how to communicate well. They didn't know how to show emotional intelligence, how to read the room, the people, how to actually take them from a prospect to a client. And that's how I formed Business Leaders Network. I unofficially launched it, I think, in 2020 or 2021, and then officially through a new LLC in 2022. And it's been going amazing ever since. We're very heavy on in-person experiences and events. And that is my high ticket offer, where I teach people how to leverage in-person experiences for building wealth inside of their business. But within the Business Leaders Network community, we focus on in-person experiences, whether it's workshops or summits or mastermind retreats, VIP days. I mean, I'm hosting just this year alone, I'm personally hosting, I think, 5 more events, and then attending a lot more. And so I do what I preach and love doing it. So, all right, I am going to start with Jessica on this one, since you were last on before. Why don't you share one of your best client success stories? Where are they at when they started with you, and what did you help lead them towards?
So I am going to give you a bit of an amalgamation since all of my sessions are confidential. But I did have a situation where it was an active duty gentleman that was given orders, and the wife was in in school for a program where she was not able to leave. And so, this caused some serious friction, right? Because they both needed to go 2 separate ways and they have a child. And so it was a very sensitive ask, and it was great that they came in before things got worse. I do also handle family as well as a mediator, so just some context there. But it was really great to be able to help them figure out some logistics so that they could actually continue having a good relationship, setting expectations, and being able to co-parent long distance, and so that they could both reach those goals that they had for themselves. So it was a huge impact for them, right? Their marriage, their kid, their livelihoods were all tied up in these decisions. So it was very rewarding to be able to help them move forward productively.
I love that. Very cool. Congratulations. Dashon, same thing. Tell us one of your best client success stories.
One of the best client success stories I have came recently, and during it, I was given their business plan that they had made back when they was in college. They had just graduated college, I think, back in May. And she was like, hey, this is my business plan. This is the business I want to start. And ultimately, it was a tech company. When looking over it, I just kind of realized, okay, we need to make some changes in the name, the way that we build it, and understanding who the target audience, what you're going to be doing, and who your competition is. So I took her business plan and was able to work through it and with it some to make it a lot stronger than what it was. And then when I sent it over to her, her and her mom sat down and read over it, and we made a few more edits afterwards, and then changing the name just a little bit so that it could be easier to speak and easier to say. When I got the feedback, it was just, hey, this is amazing. You didn't know much about my company, but I am so grateful for what you did. And then also understanding that now they're getting ready to go through the Apple program to get Apple certified to work on those Apple products and whatnot.
Love that. That's awesome. Congratulations. April.
So, as a speaker, I don't speak to individual people, like I speak as a group. So, if somebody had some major breakthrough, sometimes I don't know about it. But I did have a talk last week, and I was talking to a group of nonprofits and just talking to them in general about speaking their truth. They have to be honest with their staff, with their community, with their donors, and just be upfront about everything because as a donor, I want to know where my money's going. So I did have a lot of people come up to me afterwards, send me some emails about how they never really thought about the three distinct ways of telling the truth. I mean, which tell your staff is one thing, which tell your donors is another, and what the community thinks is completely different. But it all is one cohesive unit as one nonprofit. So I did have a lot of people tell me they started thinking differently. And as far as the values led leadership, I was like, the staff really needs to talk with the board. It, the board may have some great ideas, but it may not be able to be implemented with the boots on the ground the way they think. So it did open up some communication between staff and leadership. So that's all I can hope for. We're
Beautiful
hoping for
story.
more.
No, beautiful story. I love that. So you're focused on primarily more keynote public speaking.
Yes.
Cool.
Maybe some workshopping. I have not done a workshop yet, but I'm thinking for values-led leadership, a workshop it might be mandatory. Get a little bit more down deep and dirty
Very
about
cool.
what that means.
I love that. Well, for me, within Business Leaders Network, I have a lot of stories, and because I help people with the networking connections and relationships in our community, as well from my one-on-one coaching from leading people on how to leverage in-person experiences. I want to tell two quick, really, stories. But one, there was a individual in our community, and this is going back probably 2 or 3 years ago. And she goes to now we go to the same church, and I was up on the stage helping lead worship and stuff, and she was back working the AV, and I was just looking at her, and I just like stopped, and from what I was doing, I was like, wow, it's pretty amazing how she got there, because she's able to, first off, what she does for a living is she works with ministries and helps them with media and marketing and operations and different things like that. And it all started with one new connection. I connected her with one person, and then another person in the church that led her to now she's running the entire thing for the same church that we go to together. And her whole life has completely changed from there, and she's just living in a place of just stewardship and taking care of that church and her other clients. But it all began with one connection, not even someone within our BLN community, but a connection that I had outside that ultimately changed her entire life, and it built a relationship and that she was able to form and get to where to go. When it comes to my one day events, I have a lot of success stories, but one particular, several years ago, I had a client of mine that she joined my program in December. Gosh, this is probably 5 years ago, maybe six. She joined my program, and she was getting ready to host her very first event, and I looked at it and I was like, man, this is gonna flop. It's gonna be really bad. And I had to change everything on it. And this she was doing her event. She joined with me beginning of December. Her event was scheduled at the end of the month, like right between New Year and Christmas. I was like, we got some work to do. So the very first thing I had to do was first shift her belief, because she didn't believe that she can charge more than what she was doing. Had to shift her message, and I had to change her offers. So it was her belief, her message, and her offers. And that one event that she did, she closed more than $109,000 in new contract sales from one event. And I have a lot of clients that close big tickets and big rooms, and she only had like maybe 12 to 15 people in that room. And so it doesn't take a lot of people in a room to be able to close big sales. And I love telling that story because she's still thriving today and doing a lot of really cool things. Even though she's not part of my community, I had the pleasure of working with her for a long time, and I still talk to her. I actually helped her get on a couple stages last year and from different networking and connections, and it's just amazing. She's pregnant with her second child and doing some really cool things. So that's a couple of success stories that I got. All right, Dr. Dashon, why don't you share more about who you like to work with and the best way to get in touch with you?
The ones that I like to work with, that I best work with, are small new entrepreneurs and people that's coming to the business world. So new coaches, consultants, people that want to understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur, but also understanding that they have to get their hands dirty doing the work that no one else brags about. And the best way to really get in contact with me is is on Instagram, and my handle on Instagram is Dr. Dashon Williams.
Well, starting a new business is challenging, and you said it perfectly. Most people starting a business think it's going to be an easy ride, but yet it is one of the most challenging things next to being a parent that there ever is. So I got 4 kids and another one on the way. So I mean, being a parent is definitely challenging, but running a business, people think that they don't have to put in the hard work, but it's challenging because you're wearing all the hats, especially in the beginning. So good on you. All right, April, who do you like to work with, and what is the best way to get in touch with you?
I like to work with entrepreneurs and companies, like service companies that have a lot of turnover and they don't understand why people are leaving all the time.
Hmm.
And a lot of times it has to do with how they manage. So I can help with that. And also women's groups, people that are in a new phase of their life. They have a new career, or they're just starting over and they don't know where to start. I can help with that too, since I am on my 5th career. So I understand. Best way is email or my website. It's april@aprilweigand.com. It's Weygand. Website, aprilweigand.com.
Love that. And Jessica.
So I like to partner with professionals who are navigating high stakes conversations, conflict at work. That could be managers, team leads, HR professionals that are handling employee disputes or organizational change. Also executives that are making difficult decisions, or maybe there's a transition in leadership and we need some help negotiating and getting through that change. On the family side, any individual going through a divorce or separation, parents looking for co-parenting plans or modifications to those plans if they're already divorced, families that are dealing with high conflict situations, maybe in an estate case or inheritance, but really just people in transition. So whether that's at work or at home, those are the people that I'm looking to help.
Very cool. What's the best way to get in touch?
Best way to get in touch is through my website or email. Website is thepeoplesmediator.com, and the email is info@thepeoplesmediator.com. I
Love
also have a free tip sheet out there too on the resources tab for your listeners.
it. Very cool. Thank you. Yeah, make sure you share that. Well, for us, we love working with speakers, coaches, authors, and service-based professionals. So anyone that has a heart-centered to want to help people and working with other businesses and entrepreneurs and stuff like that, but they are a service professional, like marketing agency, or going to be a home service provider or an attorney or marketing. It doesn't really matter. But speakers, coaches, authors, and service-based professionals, which pretty much is most small business owners, those are people we love to work with. And the best way to find out more information is on our website at blncommunity.com. That's Business Leaders Network. So blncommunity.com. Go there, click on join now, and then you'll fill out an application. And then someone from my team will be in touch to see if you're a good fit to join our community. So the blncommunity.com. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this call today. And for anyone listening, if you found anything that's valuable that you'd like to get in touch, make sure you reach out to one of us, and we'll make sure we get in touch and schedule that one-on-one. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Semper Fi.